All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch and unveil various development projects in Bengaluru today. Top military leadership of country says no rollback of Agnibat scheme. Recruitment to begin from June the 24th. In Bihar, 21 people die and 13 injured in lightning and rain-related incidents in different parts of the state. Flood situation continues to be grim in Assam. Historic torch relay for 44th Chess Olympiad launched by Prime Minister in New Delhi yesterday. Nation gears up to celebrate International Day of Yoga tomorrow. Yoga rehearsals being held across the country. 7 terrorists, including 2 Pakistanis, gunned down by security forces in 2 operations in Kupwara and Kulgam districts in Jammu and Kashmir. French President Emmanuel Macron's alliance projected to lose majority in parliamentary elections. India beat Ireland 4-1 in Under-23 women's hockey tournament at Dublin. And in cricket, 5-match T20 series between India and South Africa ends in 2-2 draw. Rain washes off the final match. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Coming to our 89th question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. In which year did the Battle of Aberdeen, an important chapter in India's indigenous resistance movement against the British, take place? To repeat the question, in which year did the Battle of Aberdeen, an important chapter in India's indigenous resistance movement against the British, take place? Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262, that is 8826546262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in, amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating and launching various development programs during his 2-day visit to Bengaluru and Mysuru today and tomorrow. After arriving in Bengaluru at noon today, the Prime Minister will visit the prestigious Indian Institute of Science. He will inaugurate the Brain Cell Research Centre, which is established at a cost of 450 crore rupees, donated by Chris Gopalakrishnan, the co-founder of Infosys. The Prime Minister will also lay foundation stone for an 850-bed Bagchi Parthasarthi Research Hospital at IISc being funded by Mindtree IT Company. The Prime Minister will address a public gathering at Kommagata near Kengeri, where he will inaugurate various development projects, including laying the foundation stones for Bengaluru Suburban Railway project, certain road projects, and multimodal logistic parks. Several upgraded industrial training institutes of Karnataka will also be dedicated to the nation. In the evening, he will unveil the statue of Baba Saheb Ambedkar at the B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics campus and officially dedicate the higher education institution to the nation. Following this, the Prime Minister will proceed to Mysuru, where he will address a public gathering at Maharaja College grounds. Tomorrow, Mr. Modi will take part in the International Day of Yoga to be held in front of the iconic Mysuru Palace. More from our Bengaluru correspondent.
The preparations are done for the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The suburban rail project, to be taken up at a cost of 15,000 crore rupees, will connect Bengaluru city with its suburbs through a rail-based transit system. It is likely to be completed by 2026. The country's first and only fully air-conditioned railway station, modeled like an airport, will be dedicated to the nation by Prime Minister. The station is named after the great engineering visionary Sir M. Visvesvaraya, the Bagchi Parthasarathi Research Hospital will integrate science, engineering and medicine on a single campus. This not-for-profit multi-speciality hospital for clinical research will be fully digital, leveraging advanced computing and communication, and is likely to contribute substantially to the healthcare sector. The Brain Cell Research Center will work on relative functions of the brain to create better understanding of the factors leading to diseases. The 150 upgraded ITIs to be dedicated by the Prime Minister to the nation will extend training in the state-of-the-art trades. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Yoga rehearsals are being held across the country as the nation is gearing up to celebrate the 8th International Day of Yoga tomorrow. In Uttar Pradesh, many events and functions will be organized today to motivate people to participate in yoga sessions that will be held across the state today on International Day of Yoga. More than 3.5 crore people in the state are expected to take part in yoga practice. Ayush Minister of State Dayasankar Mishra Dayalu told AIR News that yoga sessions will be organized at all heritage sites, ponds and historic places.
जितने भी महत्वपूर्ण हमारे तीर्थ स्थल है, जितने महत्वपूर्ण तालाब, कुंड, सरोवर है, हमारी जो हेरिटेज जगह है जैसे सारनाथ है, अयोध्या, झांसी, बिठूर, श्रावस्ती, ऐसे करके जो भगवान बौद्ध के अलग अलग धार्मिक स्थल है, लखनऊ में जैसे रेजिडेंसी है, तो इन सारे स्थानों का चयन किया गया है। भारत सरकार के 6 कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर महत्वपूर्ण जगहों पे वो आ रहे हैं।
Yoga Abhyas program is also being organized in Uttarakhand today. In Haridwar, a large number of people are participating in Yoga Abhyas program at Patanjali Wellness Center under the guidance of Swami Ramdev this morning. Meanwhile, Yoga Abhyas program is also being organized in other parts of the state. A cycle rally is being organized in the state capital, Dehradun, today. In Kerala, Union Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan will lead the Yoga Day celebrations in Thiruvananthapuram tomorrow. The program will be organized at the east entrance of Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple, which is one among the 75 venues selected for the national level Yoga Day celebrations. At the venue, there will be a live telecast of Yoga Day event attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Mysuru. Likewise, Kerala Governor Arif Muhammad Khan will inaugurate the Yoga Day celebrations organized by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and Nehru Yuva Kendra at Raj Bhavan Hall. Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan will also organize mass yoga demonstrations at 3 venues in Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi and Kasaragod.
Air Marshal S.K. Jha has said that the registration process for the first batch of Agni Veer will start from 24th June in the Indian Air Force. Addressing a joint press conference of the tri-services in New Delhi yesterday, Air Marshal Jha said the first batch will be enrolled by December.
ये एक ऑनलाइन सिस्टम है जो हमारा वेल स्टैब्लिश्ड स्टार एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम है। उसी के तहत ये नोटिफिकेशन और रजिस्ट्रेशन चालू होगी। इसके ठीक 1 महीने बाद 24 जुलाई से जो फेज 1 ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन है उसकी प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी और दिसंबर के अंत तक हम पहले बैच अग्निवीर को एनरोल कर लेंगे और 30 दिसंबर से पहले बैच की ट्रेनिंग शुरू हो जाएगी।
Lieutenant General Anil Puri has said that the future wars will be different and they will be based on technology. He said for this the country needs different kinds of people and they are India's youth. Lieutenant General Puri said we need youth profile because by 2030, 50% of the people in the country will be under the age of 25.
आगे आने वाली जो लड़ाई है वो अलग किस्म की होगी, टेक्नोलॉजिकली सैवी होगी। अगर वो टेक्नोलॉजिकली सैवी होगी तो उसके लिए अलग किस्म के लोग चाहिए और वो कौन सा किस्म है? हमारा यूथ। ये भारत का नौजवान क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी के एडेप्ट है, वो पैदा हुआ है एक मोबाइल के साथ खेलता हुआ, कंप्यूटर के साथ खेलता हुआ।
Lieutenant General Anil Puri said Indian Army's foundation is discipline and there is no space for arson or vandalism. He said aspirants will be asked to certify that they were not part of any arson. Lieutenant General Bansi Ponappa has said that the draft notification for recruitment in the Indian Army will be issued today. He said the recruitment process for term and condition and eligibility criteria has already been put on the website. Lieutenant General Ponappa said by December first week, the Indian Army will get the first batch of 25,000 Agniveers.
हमारा सिस्टम ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट थोड़ा सा फर्क है। इसमें हमारा पहला रैलीज होते हैं, फिजिकल टेस्ट एंड मेडिकल, उसके बाद हमारा जो एंट्रेंस एग्जाम होता है एंड देन वी सेंड फॉर अ कॉल अप एज पर द मेरिट। तो इसलिए हमारा जो रैलीज अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर चलेगा। ये 2 बैचेस में हमारा इंडक्शन होंगे इनटू द ट्रेनिंग सेंटर्स। पहला जो लॉट है, जो ज्यादातर तकरीबन 25,000 का आसपास है, वो आएंगे बाय दिसंबर फर्स्ट वीक और दिसंबर सेकंड वीक। द नेक्स्ट लॉट विल कम इन द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ February 23. In this whole, approximately 40,000 of the recruits for the Agnibat system will be inducted.
Vice Admiral Dinesh Tripathi has said that the recruitment process for the Indian Navy has been started.
हमारी जो टाइमलाइंस है उसके हिसाब से 21 नवंबर जो हमने डेट चुनी है, 21 नवंबर को हमारा फर्स्ट अग्निवीर हमारी जो बेसिक ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन है INS चिल्का उड़ीसा में, वहां पर रिपोर्ट करना शुरू कर देगा। अग्निवीर जो हमारे आएंगे नेवी में वो जेंडर न्यूट्रल रहेंगे, तो विमेन अग्निवीर भी हम लोग ले रहे हैं और उसके लिए अपनी जो हमारी ट्रेनिंग करिकुलम है, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो भी मॉडिफिकेशन करना है, वो काम ऑलरेडी शुरू हो चुका है।
Union Minister of State, Science and Technology, Earth Sciences and MOS PMO Dr. Jitendra Singh yesterday said that Agnibat is a scheme which has been brought for the interest of the unemployed youth of the country. The scheme is to provide them an opportunity to serve the nation and get employment.
अग्निपथ के द्वारा युवाओं को रोजगार का भी एक साधन रहेगा, देश सेवा का भी एक उनके पास विकल्प है। और जो भ्रम पैदा किया जा रहा है कि पिछली व्यवस्था को तहस नहस किया जाएगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। ये अपने में एक बहुत ही बढ़िया और दूरगामी योजना है, जिसके तहत जो बिल्कुल बेरोजगार हमारे युवा हैं उनको 4 वर्ष तक अपनी सेवाएं देने का अवसर रहेगा। उसके उपरांत उनमें से कुछ एक मुस्तकिल तौर पर फौज में भर्ती रहेंगे, यदि नहीं रहते तो उनको दूसरे व्यवसायों में भी प्राथमिकता दी जाएगी।
BJP has hit out at the opposition over politicization of Agnibat scheme. Briefing media in New Delhi yesterday, party spokesperson Sambit Patra said the aim of the Congress is to topple the government, so they are politicizing the country's safety. He said on the issues of the safety and security of the country, we should all stand together.
प्रियंका वाड्रा जी को मैं सुन रहा था तथा कथित सत्याग्रह में उन्होंने कहा है कि हमारा एक ही मकसद है, और मैं युवाओं से अपील करती हूं कि वो एक ही मकसद के साथ काम करे, और वो मकसद है सरकार को गिराना, सरकार को खत्म करना, लोगों को मिस इन्फॉर्म करना, बच्चों को गलतफहमी में डालना, संस्थाओं को भड़का करके इस प्रकार की आगजनी कराना, यह उचित नहीं है। ऑन द इश्यूज ऑफ आर्मी, ऑन द इश्यूज ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट, ऑन द इश्यूज ऑफ सेफ्टी ऑफ द कंट्री, ऑन द इश्यूज ऑफ सिक्योरिटी ऑफ दिस कंट्री, वी शुड ऑल स्टैंड टुगेदर, टॉल एज इंडियंस।
In Bihar, the East Central Railways ECR has cancelled 350 trains in view of the ongoing protests and violence in the state. The Railways has decided to run trains under its jurisdiction only from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. as a precautionary measure. During this period, Railways has started several pairs of special passenger trains to help those passengers who are stranded at different railway stations due to protests by army job aspirants against the centre's Agnipat scheme to reach their destinations safely. Meanwhile, Bihar government has suspended internet services today in 20 districts, including Gaya, Kaimur, Bhojpur, Aurangabad, Rohtas, Buxar and Nawada, to maintain law and order in the state. This order, however, will not be applicable on government internet and intranet-based services. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the historic torch relay for the 44th Chess Olympiad at Indira Gandhi Stadium in New Delhi yesterday. This year, for the very first time, International Chess Federation FIDE has instituted the Chess Olympiad torch, a part of the Olympic tradition. India is the very first country to have the Chess Olympiad torch relay. FIDE President Arkady Dvorkovich handed over the torch to the Prime Minister, who in turn handed it over to Grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand. This torch will be taken to 75 cities in a span of 40 days before the final culmination at Mahabalipuram near Chennai. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said, chess teaches everyone that only those people who are far-sighted in their planning achieve real success.
नए भारत का युवा आज शतरंज के साथ हर खेल में कमाल कर रहा है। पिछले कुछ समय में ही हमने ओलंपिक, पैरालंपिक और डिफ ओलंपिक ऐसे बड़े ग्लोबल स्पोर्ट्स इवेंट्स को देखा। भारत के खिलाड़ियों ने इन सभी आयोजनों में शानदार प्रदर्शन किया, पुराने रिकॉर्ड तोड़े और नए रिकॉर्ड बनाए।
Prime Minister Modi also pointed out that sports has been treated as other academic subjects under new education policy.
देश की नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में भी स्पोर्ट्स को दूसरे विषयों की तरह ही प्राथमिकता दी गई है। स्पोर्ट्स की दुनिया में युवाओं के लिए खेलने के अलावा भी कई नए अवसर खुल रहे हैं। स्पोर्ट्स साइंस, स्पोर्ट्स फिजियो, स्पोर्ट्स रिसर्च, ऐसे कितने ही नए आयाम जुड़ रहे हैं। देश में कई स्पोर्ट्स यूनिवर्सिटीज भी खोली जा रही हैं ताकि आपके कैरियर बनाने में मदद मिल सके।
On the occasion, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said, "It is a special occasion for India." He said, "A torch relay happens for the very first time in Chess Olympiad from India."
190 देशों के लगभग 3000 खिलाड़ी भारत में आएंगे, जो दुनिया भर के देश कई वर्षों की तैयारियों के बाद आयोजन करते हैं। भारत मात्र 3 महीने के समय में इसका आयोजन करने जा रहा है। भव्य आयोजन भी होगा, इससे चेस के प्रति जागरूकता भी बढ़ेगी और लोग इससे जुड़ेंगे भी।
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has said, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched the Chess Olympiad torch, Chennai is proud to be behind the historic moment for India, the birthplace of chess. In a tweet yesterday, he said he will be excited to welcome the torch at the culmination of its relay at Mamallapuram. In Assam, the flood situation continues to be grim as 33 districts are now under the grip of floods and 8 more persons have lost their lives during the last 24 hours. We have more from our correspondent.
Over 5,000 villages are under the grip of flood and about 42 lakh people affected in the fury of flood. Over 1,86,000 people have taken shelter in relief camps. Huge crop areas, 14 bridges, roads, culverts have been damaged at many places. The army, paramilitary forces, NDRF and SDRF along with local administration are carrying out rescue operations and relief materials are being distributed in flood-hit areas. Several ministers are visiting flood-affected districts to take stock of the rescue and relief works. Aminul Haqzadar, Guwahati.
In Bihar, 21 people have died and 13 people were injured in lightning and rain-related incidents in different parts of the state. Most of the dead were farmers who were in the fields when the tragedy struck. 8 people were killed in Bhagalpur and 4 lost their lives in Vaishali and 3 in Khagadia district. Expressing grief over the tragedy, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced an ex gratia of ₹4 lakh to the next of kin of those who have lost their lives.
You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch and unveil various development projects in Bengaluru today. Top military leadership of country says no rollback of Agnibat scheme, recruitment to begin from June 24. In Bihar, 21 people die and 13 injured in lightning and rain-related incidents in different parts of the state. Flood situation continues to be grim in Assam. Historic torch relay for 44th Chess Olympiad launched by Prime Minister in New Delhi yesterday. Nation gears up to celebrate International Day of Yoga tomorrow. Yoga rehearsals being held across the country. 7 terrorists, including 2 Pakistanis, gunned down by security forces in 2 operations in Kupwara and Kulgam districts in Jammu and Kashmir. French President Emmanuel Macron's alliance projected to lose majority in parliamentary elections. India beat Ireland 4-1 in under-23 women's hockey tournament at Dublin. And in cricket, 5-match T20 series between India and South Africa ends in 2-2 draw. Rain washes off the final match. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 22 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have neutralized a total of 7 terrorists in less than 24 hours, including 2 Pakistani terrorists in 3 different anti-terrorist counter-operations in the Kashmir Valley. Earlier, Kupwara police, along with Army's 28 Rashtriya Rifles, launched a joint anti-terrorist operation yesterday, and during the search of a hideout, terrorists fired at the joint search party, which was retaliated effectively, leading to an encounter in which 2 Pakistani terrorists of proscribed terror outfit LET were killed. French President Emmanuel Macron's centrist Alliance Ensemble was projected to lose its majority despite getting the most seats in the final round of the parliamentary election yesterday. Meanwhile, the far-right National Rally appear to have made big gains. The projections, which are based on partial results, show that Macron's candidates would win between 200 and 250 seats, much less than the 289 required to have a straight majority.
The 7th round of the India-Bangladesh Joint Consultative Commission was held in New Delhi yesterday. It was co-chaired by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Bangladesh counterpart Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin. The ministers welcomed the further strengthening of bilateral ties with the unprecedented visits by both the President and the Prime Minister of India to Bangladesh last year. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
On 20th of June 1756, the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dawla seized Calcutta to punish the East India Company for the unauthorized construction of fortifications at Fort William. Siraj-ud-Dawla caught the company unprepared and won the fort, ousting the East India Company army.
The captured prisoners were held in a prison called the Black Hole. It is said that 146 company prisoners were put into a room measuring 18 by 15 feet. However, the victory was only short-lived, as Siraj-ud-Dawla was defeated by the British in the Battle of Plassey a year later in 1757.
The Battle of Plassey is generally seen as the start of company rule in India and the first major step in the development of the British Empire in India.
We also remember revolutionary freedom fighter Narendranath Banerjee, who died on the 20th of June 1934. He was a close associate of revolutionaries Rajendranath Lahiri and Jitendranath Sanyal.
Narendranath was sentenced to 10 years rigorous imprisonment for attempt to murder of G.N. Banerjee, the notorious deputy superintendent of the CID. During imprisonment in the Fatehgarh Central Jail, Narendra, along with Manmathnath Gupta and Yashpal, went on hunger strikes twice, demanding better treatment for the political prisoners. The second hunger strike badly impaired Narendra's health, and he breathed his last on 20th of June 1934. AIR News salutes the great freedom fighter.
We also remembered nationalist Gurnam Singh, a resident of district Ludhiana. Gurnam Singh offered individual satyagraha on the 20th of June 1941, for which he was arrested and jailed for 6 months. After coming out of the prison, Singh participated in the Quit India movement. He was put behind bars and remained in Multan, Firozpur and Ludhiana jails. The brave son of the soil was hanged in the Ludhiana jail in September 1944. AIR News salutes the great martyr.
We also remember Kalibai, a girl of only 12 years of age who gave supreme sacrifice on 20th of June 1947. The Maharaval of Dungarpur ordered the state police to close down all schools for bheels, which the Rajasthan Seva Sangh, Dungarpur had set up. When Senga Bhai, a bheel and a teacher of one such school at Rastapal village, refused to abide by the police superintendent's order on 19th of June 1947, he was badly beaten, tied with a rope to the police truck and dragged on.
Kalibai saw this cruel enactment from the field. She bravely rushed to her teacher's help and cut off the rope from the truck with her sickle. On being fired upon by the state police for this brave act, a critically injured Kalibai died in Dungarpur Hospital on the 20th of June 1947. AIR News pays tribute to the brave daughter of India. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
The 5-match T20 International Series between India and South Africa ended in a 2-2 draw last night, both the teams sharing the trophy as the final match was called off due to rain. Indian junior women's hockey team started their Under-23 5-nation tournament with a comprehensive 4-1 win over host Ireland at Dublin yesterday. The Netherlands lifted the title of the FIH Hockey Men's Pro League after beating India 2-1 in the second match of the two-leg game at Rotterdam yesterday. And now an overview of today's newspapers. Hindustan Times quotes a senior military official as saying that Agnibat won't take violent protesters. India's weekly COVID cases up 60% to 80,000, deaths low but rising, headlines The Times of India. After the ISIS attack on Gurdwara Karte Parwan in Kabul, the Ministry of External Affairs has issued emergency e-visas for Afghan Sikhs and Hindus on priority, writes the Tribune. And finally, the Indian Express carries the story of women in Changlang district of Arunachal Pradesh leading the fight for a drug-free community.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. In which year did the Battle of Aberdeen, an important chapter in India's indigenous resistance movement against the British, take place? And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch and unveil various development projects in Bengaluru today. Top military leadership of the country says no rollback of Agnibat scheme. Recruitment to begin from June the 24th. In Bihar, 21 people die and 13 were injured in lightning and rain-related incidents in different parts of the state. Flood situation continues to be grim in Assam. Historic torch relay for 44th Chess Olympiad launched by Prime Minister in New Delhi yesterday. Nation gears up to celebrate International Day of Yoga tomorrow. Yoga rehearsals being held across the country. 7 terrorists, including 2 Pakistanis, gunned down by security forces in 2 operations in Kupwara and Kulgam districts in Jammu and Kashmir. French President Emmanuel Macron's alliance projected to lose majority in parliamentary elections. India beat Ireland 4-1 in the Under-23 Women's Hockey Tournament at Dublin. And in cricket, 5-match T20 series between India and South Africa ends in 2-2 draw. Rain washes off the final match. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.